we appreciate you guys being on with us this evening. And oh, no audio. Is everybody lit in?
Yeah, everybody's in.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure. All right. So if you don't have audio, I saw somebody say no audio. That's your audio. That's not working, not ours. So we're gonna have a great call for you guys this evening. We got a couple of documents we're gonna go over. So thank you guys for all your prayers, because Lamar and Randy, they were safe and they are back. So of course we've got our wonderful dream team we always have on the line. We got Miss Sharon kind of co-hosting and doing all these other let-ins, and she does do some talk. She's been doing a little bit more talking here lately on the call. We've got Sherranda, Ivey, we've got myself, we've got Randy Hooker, and Lamar Reynolds as well. So we're gonna all be giving you guys a little bit of information. I know that Lamar and Randy is gonna be doing most of the talking this evening because they were not with us last week. And thank God that they were safe, and because they're out there in Texas, and we know what's happening in Texas. So we're gonna talk a little bit about inclement weather as well on this call tonight, because of what corporate has released as far as the information on being able to use that with your customers. So they're gonna go over that as well, and I believe they will be putting it on the Facebook page as well. So just keep in mind, guys, we're gonna do our introductions. We're gonna get moving. A lot of you all are asking about the replays and things like that because you want to go over and take notes and get information, which is really a great thing. I'm really glad that you guys are looking to do that with this. But please go to the YouTube channel, to the playlist, and they're all in one place, so you don't have to kind of look through my YouTube page to find them. See the playlist, and do me a favor and subscribe to the channel while you're there, guys. I mean, just do that for me. Just a supportive thing. It's nothing's gonna happen when you do it. You're not gonna get emails. You're not gonna get notifications. Nothing's gonna happen. You're not gonna get any information from me because you subscribe to my channel. That's just to help my channel grow when you do that. So if you can subscribe to the channel when you go there to look at your CDLP videos, that would be fantastic. And we'll be in March. We'll be creating another annual prospecting trucking companies using the safety score video, and it will be Lamar Reynolds, Catherine Pouliot. It'll be Sherranda, Ivey as well. It'll be Sharon. It'll be myself, and it'll be Randy Hooker, and we'll be putting that video together for about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. It's going to be, however long it needs to be for them to get the information in, because they're going to be pulling companies live on that training. And just understand, guys, especially for our new people who just took the training this past weekend. I get on those online trainings as well. I wasn't on this one this past weekend. I understand it was a really fantastic training, but on those trainings, they do not go over pulling companies on SAFE or on FMCSA. For the sake of time, they don't go over that stuff. So you're missing that information, but you're getting certified. So we want you to be able to get that. So look at the one that we already have on the YouTube channel, which is the one we did last year. But this year, we will be doing another one like we do every year, where you'll be getting fresh information, more current information on pulling companies. And if you don't know where to find it at, I'll drop it in the chat once the other trainers start talking. I'll throw it in there so that you guys can definitely make sure that you click on that video and take a look at it, because it's really, in my opinion, and I know the trainers on this line, they all feel the same way. It's very important to understand what a company is dealing with when you go in to prospect that company. So that's gonna be fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to the ladies to do the introduction first, and I will also get this background from behind me because I got my training company background. I got to get my CDLP background up here, so I'll get that changed while you guys are doing y'all's introductions, and then we'll get our training started. So thank you guys for joining us again.
Hey everyone, this is Sherranda Ivey out of Georgia. I'm the CDLP state trainer for Georgia. Been in the business now for this is our 8th year. We are Business Solutions Sapphire Elite Associates. Earned the 2019 Field Trainer of the Year award. We're Business Solutions Field Trainer and CDLP trainers as well. We have earned the 1000 App Award, Production Achievement Award here with LegalShield, and we do have a team, and I do LegalShield really on a full-time basis. I have expanded my business somewhat, still in the transportation industry, but for the last 8 years I have I've done nothing but LegalShield. And I chose to specialize in this division of the company. Found it to be very easy to do to me. I could be myself, not that I could be myself anywhere else, but it was just laid back. And I realized the value that the truckers brought and what I planned could help those individuals do. So just like Lamar says, I get up every day in some capacity trying to protect a commercial driver or their business. So just love to help anyone that I can. If you can reach out to me, if I could be of service to you, don't hesitate to reach out to me for that help. So again, thank you for this platform. It hasn't always been here, but it's definitely changed my business, and I know it is changing a lot of you guys. So I just want to thank Mr. Dunbar for creating this space, because like I said, we hadn't always had this platform. So he does a lot in the background. So, if you could ever thank him, just always do so, because he really managed this Facebook page, and all the graphics and everything that we see is done by Mr. Dunbar. So definitely give him his kudos when you can, okay? So with that, I put that plug in there for him. And so turn it over to you, Randy.
Well, thank you, Sherranda. I appreciate it. We have had a time over here in Texas, me and Lamar. We got down to a -0 or actually a -1 last Monday, and we were not above freezing for 5 days. Lost electricity at 7 o'clock Monday morning, and I got it back Thursday night at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was a little bit different times for us, and now it was 70 degrees today. So we went from cold winter to summer or spring, and we'll go into summer, guys. Texas, you can have actually in one day you can have all 4 seasons. So it's quite a place to live here. We've enjoyed it. It's been challenging, but we've survived. I've been with LegalShield for about 12 years. I do all sides of the business. I started out doing a small business quite heavily, and then I transitioned into marketing our gun plan for over 5 years at the gun show. And then in January of 19, I took on CDL after taking a class with Mr. Reynolds. And it has really become where I enjoy working the most. It's the best of all the worlds to me to be able to help the drivers that bring stuff to us on a daily basis. Without them, here in Texas, the shelves went bare because the trucks weren't rolling for 2 days. I can only imagine if they hadn't been able to roll for a week, what would have happened, because there was numerous grocery stores that their shelves went bare simply because there wasn't any trucks moving produce or goods and services to the people out here. And so it is a pleasure to be able to handle those. I've got the 1,000 app award personal sales. I've also got the $50,000 ring in the CDL space. And of course, we're on board to go to the 100,000 until COVID hit. So we've revamped and redone and started out and started making a plan to recover and move forward. And we're consistently working. We've got in group enrollments, and we've been working with new hires for some time, just like Mr. Lamar. Also, before I finish, I want everybody to, in the chat, y'all congratulate Miss Sherranda. She was number 2 in the company in group openings this last week, and she was number 5 in sales. So everybody can, give her kudos in the chat over there and what have you. And then I'll turn it over to Mr. Lamar.
Thank you, Randy, and well stated about Texas. We did have some really cold weather, but we survived. Country boy can survive. And the state of Texas is so large, you can take a proportional map and you can flip the state of Texas to the right. It will touch the Atlantic. You can flip it to the left, it will touch the Pacific. You flip it to the north, and the tip of it will touch Canada. So you can drive across Texas. When you come in from the east side at Beaumont, there's a sign there that says El Paso, 946 miles. And so you can drive for a long time and still be in the state of Texas. And you can have snow in the Panhandle, and you can have sunbathers in Corpus Christi. So it's that diverse on the temperature. But we got some really cold weather that came down. I'm based in Houston, and it's an honor to be on the call here tonight. And I've been with LegalShield going on 15 years now. And I've been selling the CDLP membership a little over 11 years. And I just get up every day and sell the CDLP to companies and to drivers. And I've been a trainer for about 10 and a half years selling, training individuals. And that's a lot of fun in terms of teaching that. And so I've sold over 5,000 memberships, and most of those are CDLP. I am doing some bundled sales now in the last few years. And so I'm blending in some legal plans there. But I've sold over 5,000 of those. I'm part of the Special Forces and the Solutions Emerald Elites. And what I love about transportation, and Robert wanted me to speak on this, when I first started off with LegalShield here in Houston, of course, Houston is a big city, and there's a lot of, at the time, prepaid legal representatives. And I remember going to groups, and they're already customers. And, you know, I was really struggling until I found transportation. And I was really praying that I could find something that I could really specialize in and make a big difference. And transportation was it. I mean, I could go virtually anywhere in the city and not run across another LegalShield or prepaid legal account out there. And what I love about transportation, it's kind of a relaxed selling. Okay, well, what I mean by that, I can wear my Texas boots, my blue jeans, my big Texas buckle, it's got Texas across it, and I wear my LegalShield shirt. And I wear that when I'm prospecting. I'm yet to walk into a trucking company that the owner or the safety director is in a suit or even wearing a tie. Okay, so it's very relaxed. But if you got to know some basic information to really talk transportation, so that's what this call is all about. But the other great thing about transportation, it is so different than other group accounts. So let's just, for instance, let's talk about a school. You might get one presentation a year. Or I've got some county facilities where you get one open enrollment a year. That's it. But in transportation, I have accounts that I can do presentations in weekly, some every 2 weeks, once a month, 6 months, and once a year. So it's very diverse. And within that, we have different areas that we can sell in. And one of the most important is a safety meeting. That's where you're invited to get in front of 50, 100, 200 drivers at one time. I love that type of selling. And I'll tell the story about doing a presentation at Pelletized Trucking. And I did 3 presentations that morning. Every hour and a half, he'd bring in a new group. And I sold 77 memberships that morning. That's the most I've ever sold. And it's a wonderful thing. So you can sell safety meetings, new driver orientation classes, and in the bigger companies, they will have those. I have companies every week, every 2 weeks, they have those type meetings. Every trucking company has got a trucker's lounge, selling the trucker's lounge. So those are the three areas for the drivers. And then the fourth area for the trucking company is open enrollment or the office staff. So it's a lot of different selling opportunities. That's why I love transportation. And what another thing that I love about transportation, I can sell the full range of products from the business plan to the gun program, to the legal program, ID Shield, and the CDLP. And so I can sell all of the family of products in this thing called transportation. And so that's the reason Lamar Reynolds, you hear me, I just specialize in transportation. I try to be the best I can be in transportation. And I just challenge you to find your sea legs. It could be transportation. And most of you, I see, 62 of you on the call here tonight. Many of you may be searching for a place to really excel in. And I've really found my place, and it's in transportation. This is really what I love to sell. And after I've done this for a few years, so once you invest 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you start to get all kinds of referrals from your customers and from drivers. And it's just a wonderful thing. I was sharing on this call a few weeks ago, I was getting calls from drivers from California were calling me. And so I had to ask, how in the world did you get my name and phone number? Well, we had a guy in Houston in our company, and he was telling me the other day, if you get a ticket, you need to call the ticket man, Lamar Reynolds, with LegalShield. And so I had 2 of those last month from California, and it's just a word of mouth. So it's very exciting what happens. So if you take good care of your customers and do customer service, the good word gets around. And if you take care of your account, they will refer you on to other good trucking companies. So I just wanted to take a moment and talk about that, why I love transportation so much. And so hopefully that will relate, you folks that are looking for a home, hopefully maybe you can relate to that and really check us out in transportation. Back over to you, Mr. Robert.
All right, fantastic. So I appreciate your love and story. And I'm real quickly, I've been with LegalShield for 11 years. In February, actually this month, it'll be 11 years on the 24th. So on Wednesday will be my 11-year anniversary here at LegalShield. I'm a 100K ringer. I've got 250K ringers on my team. I do build. I do work with insurance agents. I do business solutions. I work every area of LegalShield, and I would suggest that you do too, because there's income there for you to take advantage of. So why not take advantage of it? I went over my love for LegalShield last week, so I'm not going to go back into that. But as a trainer, I really love being able to help and assist. And I really am a live trainer. I am a kind of a hands-on, theatrical kind of guy. So I really do love to get in front of a class and do a live training. So just can't wait for Corona to end so that we can get back out in the field and do some live trainings for everybody, where we can do some skits in the classroom and some, sit down in front of tables and do live decision maker appointments and act like we're doing safety meeting trainings and things like that in a room so that you guys can see that stuff live. So definitely excited about that. So I'm gonna turn it over to Randy, because I know Randy's got some things to go over, and he also wants to give his love for LegalShield as well. So Randy Hooker, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, I incorporated what I love about it in earlier whenever I was talking. Lamar, which one do we want to go over first?
I think this owner operator might be a good document to talk about.
No, okay, that's not it. Hold on.
And while they're pulling that up real quickly, guys, again, just thank you to everybody and welcome to everybody who's new, who just took the certification for the first time or has stopped doing CDLP and got recertified, or refresh and they're back on. They're on this for the first time. If this is your first time on this Zoom that we do weekly. Just welcome for being here, and remember, everyone that you've missed, you can see on the Facebook page. You can go to it there, or you can go directly to my YouTube channel, which is Training by Dunbar, and just click on playlist. And when you scroll down, you will see an entire playlist of nothing but the CDLP training Zooms there. So Randy?
Okay. This is was put out on the Facebook page by Alan Roman as a big article, and I turned it into a front and back page for us. And of course, they're still after the small fleets and the owner operators after the offsite audits. They're just killing them, and it just keep increasing, constantly increasing the number of offsite audits that they do. All of them that were done in 2019, there was only 13,000 offsite audits done. And so far in 2020, they had already done 11,433. And of course, they're still after that, starting this year. This was, but they're still getting after these people on that. More than 80% of the audits conducted by the DOT and state partners last year were motor carriers with 20 or fewer trucks and or owner operators, and more than 53% were carriers with 6 trucks or fewer. So guys, this is your small companies that are really getting hurt by this. And there is a book available through J.J. Keller. I have a copy of it if anybody wants it. It's too big for me to put on the files section that tells them exactly what they need to do. It's a little 26-page booklet that's downloadable from jjkeller.com, and that tells the people exactly what they have to do to pass an offsite audit. And so that's a really good compliment for your safety directors, your owner operators, so that they would be have a heads up and be ready if they were to be pulled in for an offsite audit. Lamar? You're muted. You're muted.
Okay. I try to read into these articles like this and try to think through what they learn during the COVID-19. Now, here's LegalShield, and we learn how to do virtual presentations. And I've heard certain associates say, I may just continue this on and not visit accounts very often. Well, guess what? The DOT is discovering the same thing. And if you look at this, what Mr. Randy has there on page 1 of this article, you see that 5,753 virtual audits were done in 2020. And the year before, there was 1,374. And so this is very interesting because you see this, and what Mr. Randy read there on the second paragraph down, that 80% of the audits conducted by the DOT and the state partners last year was carriers with 20 or fewer trucks, according to the DOT data. 53.6% of those were carriers with 6 or fewer trucks. Now, the DOT was struggling auditing these little small trucking companies. And guess what? They just learned how to do it virtually. Yeah, they'll go to the bigger companies and show up there in person and do those audits. But I just got a sneaking suspicion this type of approach will continue 21, 23 and on, especially on the smaller trucking companies. And then Mr. Randy's there on the second page, down at the bottom, the last paragraph, the operator should be ready to produce the requested documents and files within 48 hours. So when the auditors show up at a trucking company, they give them like a day's notice or a few days notice that's going to show up. Well, when they're sitting there, when they say, I want to see the documents on this driver, I want to see the driver's log on this driver, you got to produce it right there on the spot. Well, on this, you got 48 hours. So that's another thing. When they're doing a virtual audit, you have 48 hours to come up with the documentation and either fax it or email it in. So this is very interesting. So when they do a virtual audit, the FMCSA can give the rating, one of 3 ratings to a company. They can do satisfactory, conditional, or unsatisfactory. Those are the 3 ratings that they can issue a company when they do this audit. So this is very interesting. And as Mr. Randy had pulled this up, and I said, hey, this might be a good article to talk about, because I really anticipate this to continue, especially in these little small companies with 6 trucks, 10 trucks or less, 20 trucks or less. I just got a sneaking suspicion that will continue into the future. And so a lot of the little small trucking companies were running under the radar up until the COVID hit. And now they're finding themselves called out. So this was very interesting. This might be a great article to print off and make available to your smaller trucking companies. It just kind of letting them know, to have all your documentation put together and be ready for an audit, because you could get a phone call. And if you do, you got 48 hours to produce those documents. So, Mr. Randy, that other
this one is on the file section of the Facebook page. I have got it on the file Facebook page already on the file section. So this other one is correcting data queue errors. And this is a really interesting article because there's a lot of people that don't know how the data queue works. I'm not real familiar with it, but I know that it can really hurt a company. And basically, the data queue is the federal record of a driver. The drivers have 2 records. They have an MVR, which is their state record, and they have the federal record, that is the CSA points that report to data queue. And so data queue becomes their federal record. And that's where all of their points are stored. And the companies can plead with the data queue if they have documentation to reverse a charge, or if they have an accident, they can plead with it that it was unavoidable, that it wasn't a wreck that they had that was unavoidable, so therefore they shouldn't be charged with it. And all of those pleadings, of course, that's where with the lawsuit that the over-the-road truckers won, and the article that we use, where if we get a removal, a dismissal, or change of outcome, we can help with this data queue report, because whenever they get the adjudication, because of that lawsuit, the data queue now has to accept what the court system has said through the adjudication. And this is the good news that we're able to help the truckers with. Whenever we can provide the help with the attorney in the court system, and we get that change of outcome on that particular citation or on that data queue filing, then we don't ask the data queue to change it anymore because of the court system's ruling. They have to because of the lawsuit. And that's the good news about how we can make such a difference in this. And I think you've got some stuff on this too, don't you, Lamar?
Yeah, I want to talk about this because this is very interesting about a crash. And so here's a police officer, and I'm going to tie this in with our membership. Okay. So here is a accident. Police officer wrote up the police report. Okay. Now it goes to court. Well, if that driver has our membership, we take that ticket, that accident ticket, and maybe he got a ticket for failure to stay in lane or failure to control speed. Those are two favorite violations they write in an accident. And so here's the judge. He looks at that situation. He looks at the accident report the police officer wrote up. Of course, this is going to go into the CSA. Boom, it stays there for 5 years, goes on the record, and it does what? It affects the insurance rates. So here's our little program. We fight that ticket and we got a positive outcome. We got the charge, failure to control speed, we got it dismissed. Wow. So that has an impact all over the thing. And so I had a safety director. I had an accident at Victory Transportation, and I got the safety director to be one of the star witnesses in that. And she went and testified with our attorney here in Houston, got the charges dismissed. And then she was really a data queue queen. I mean, she data queued everything. And she took this data queue and protested the whole accident and got it removed. Now, it's really rare to remove the accident out of the charge there off of the CSA. We might get the charges dismissed, but usually the accident will still stay in there. But what you can do on an accident, if we get a positive outcome in court, then next time they have an audit, then maybe the company can claim that this accident is unavoidable. Wasn't their fault because the judge ruled in our favor. So there's all kinds of really important things that happen in these accidents. And we have an opportunity just adjudicating this ticket for the driver. So another thing that happens in this article, and I really challenge, Randy, you do have this one posted too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in the file.
So this is another thing that happens, and I just me and Betty, and I don't know if she's on the call tonight, we worked with a group up in Pennsylvania. We opened one over a virtual and opened that. And the gentleman up there, the safety director, called me the other day. It's about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And he said, Lamar, I just had a driver to quit, and he failed to come back to the yard, and he's still driving with my D.O.T. number on the door and the logos on the door. And he says, I'm just frightened to death that he might get in an accident and we're still accountable for that. And so I said, well, I'll tell you what, there are some things that you need to do to make sure that you're clear in this. So I called some of my DOT friends here, and I got a list of things that he needed to do with his local DOT, calling them and reporting this truck and the truck number and all the good stuff, and say he is no longer, and filing a statement that this driver is no longer driving for ABC company. Okay. But if you read this article, you'll find out this company, a driver had left, still had the decals on the truck, had an accident, and this company really, really struggled to get out of that because it was their information was on the truck. The officer wrote it up and it went into the data queue, into the operating authority of that company. And then it's, oh man, it's just a lot of paperwork to try to get that removed. So this is a great article that you can read and share with some of your bigger companies that do data queue, especially a safety director, let's say with a company with 100 drivers or 300 or 400 drivers. This is just an excellent article to read about that. Now, another thing that goes hand in hand with this is almost like identity theft. Okay. And this is a driver that another driver gets his CDL, driver's license number, and he uses that. I've had drivers to be working for a company and left, and that company, the little small company, 3 or 4 drivers, they used his driver's license for another driver, and he got a ticket in a state this driver has never been to. So that's where this thing gets really messed up in a hurry. So you have to be able to do data queue and protest this stuff. And some drivers, if they're using their personal information, they can use LegalShield to help sort out some of that, the identity theft piece of it. But the other damaging part of it is for the company, what goes into the company's operating authority. And that's what we're talking about tonight with the data queue. So I just encourage everybody to go and read this article, because it really, your bigger companies is going to appreciate this article, and probably a lot of your prospects or customers have experienced the same thing. Through the years, I have known many of my companies that have this problem. Driver gets upset with the company, storms out, leaves, and they don't have time to take the logos and decals and everything off the truck. And now he's going across town with that company's information on the truck and is involved in an accident. That is really exposing that company. So that is what this article is all about. I just encourage you to read it and be prepared to, both of these articles are, this first one is really designed for the smaller companies. This one is designed for your larger companies, mid-size and larger companies that that's going to be doing data queue themselves, like a safety director. Mr. Randy, that's about all I had. Do you have any more comments on this as far as accidents?
No, that pretty well covers everything on that one, Lamar.
Okay.
Then the only other one is our
yes,
inclement weather. I hope everyone has seen this article that has come out from LegalShield. They put it out midweek last week. I think Wednesday night or Thursday last week. Guys, I've got a lot of mileage out of this already. I've sat down and sent this out to every one of my group accounts. Every group account. It explains what can do, and I ask that they send it all out to all of the employees in drivers and stuff in all of my groups. And the reason that I wanted them to do that is because the members that have our product, I want them to know about this. The members that don't have our product, when they see this, will be probably very interested in our product. And I know you've had some pretty good success too, haven't you, Lamar?
Yes, I have. And Randy, if you'll scroll up a little bit towards the bottom, you see, folks, down at the bottom, you can personalize this with your own name, phone number, email address. And I sent this out to 13 of my conservation accounts, like schools and counties, open enrollment. And I've got 4 responses back from HR directors where they emailed this out to all of the employees. And I had one, which was a town here in Texas, actually a county, and she sent it out to 200 of her employees. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, that is really awesome. And so I had 2 schools that sent it out. Both schools has got over 100 teachers. And, you know, one of the schools I probably have maybe 50 members in that one. The other one probably 30. And they're sending it out to all the teachers. And I've sent out to 2 transportation accounts, and one of the transportation accounts, the HR director there. And in this particular account, I have 2 groups set up in it. I have a payroll deduct and I got a bank draft. And so this HR director at this company says, Lamar, I read that and I sent it out to all employees. And I'm saying, I was talking to Randy. I said, Randy, I have gotten now 5 responses back from HR directors where they sent it out to all employees. And I said, you know, I'm going to be like Randy. In the next couple of days, and we only have a window of opportunities because winter is not going to stay here very long, folks. So you need to do it now. Well, I'd say within the next 2 to 3 weeks, you need to send this article out to all of your customers. And you could send it out to your prospects too.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. If you're starting a dialogue with a prospect, send this out, because this really opens the door for our legal life events program, as Randy calls it. And so this is an awesome thing to take advantage of. And I just wished our company would have an article of the month. And I ran this past Randy the other day, and I'm going to talk to a few people in Business Solutions and see if I can challenge them to do an article a month, just one article a month that is related to current situations that's going on or something about our product that we could use to send out to our account base. That would be wonderful to do. But you only have a window of opportunity to take advantage of this. And up here in the purple, it really lays out all of the different things. Thank you, Randy. All the different things there, from property damage, rent agreement disputes, lease liability for destroyed and habitable premises, like water damage, okay? Charitable solicitation fraud, price gouging. And I experienced some of the price gouging this past weekend, where people were taking advantage of plumbing parts. A guy selling parts out of his pickup truck. Of course, I needed the part and I paid the price, but property insurance fraud, repair cleanup scams, and there's a lot of cleanup going on after the storm. So what I'm trying to say to you folks, people will read this. If that company is sending it out to the employees, so it could be a driver, or it could be a staff member is reading this in the purple and relates to it immediately and wants to reach out to Mr. Randy. And all they got to do is go down to the bottom of that document there, and there's Randy's name, phone number, and email address. And I got 2 new members this morning. With one of them had bought a legal plan and ID Shield, and the other one did a legal plan. And I'm sure this had some impact on that decision. So anyway, Robert, maybe we could get other people, Sharon and Sherranda, to talk about this, because I think that you're talking about a nugget here tonight. Everybody logged on here tonight to learn something to do, and this is a great thing you can do for your customers and prospects.
And Lamar,
yes, sir.
While we're doing that, also, if they buy from you, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to remind them of perks. down there in Houston, there is a bunch of people that whenever those pipes busted have lost their furniture, lost their TVs, their electronics, basically everything in the living room. Whenever that pipe busted and soaked everything, it's ruined. And to start replacing some of that stuff, they may be able to find a good amount of savings through the perks program. So whenever if you sell something from one of these, be sure to remind them when they buy that program of our perks program.
Yeah, and well, what Randy is talking about, we had people here in Texas. I want you to grasp this. We had people here in Texas with a fireplace. They were taking their furniture apart and burning it in the fireplace to stay warm. Isn't that something? Now, Don Wilson up in Dallas was telling us about that they had known some people there that was actually burning furniture in the fireplace to stay warm. So, you know, when the electricity goes off and you got a few kids in the house and the temperature's getting, let's say, in the 20s in the house, I mean, something's got to give. So anyway, there are probably, as Randy's indicating, a lot of desperate people out there is looking for answers, and the LegalShield perks, it can be a key component. As Randy has pointed out, you don't have to go into your budget to enjoy this membership. It's a write-off, and then you can offset the cost of this membership through the LegalShield perks. And usually I'll go straight to the cell phone. Who is your cell phone carrier? Verizon. Well, you get 8% just because you're just a member of LegalShield. T-Mobile. Well, you get 15% just because you're a member. How much is your phone bill a month? For $300. Oh, wow. Well, that's going to offset the full membership. Okay. So you got to think like that, and you got to present it like that. And so once they understand it, they're all over the opportunity at that point. They're ready to buy the CDL membership. They're ready to buy the legal membership. And this is what this inclement weather brochure is all about. So Mr. Randy is spot on. Membership perks. Every time, if I hand out a brochure, they're going to get an application. And if they're going to get an application, they're going to get a membership perk page with that. And I intend to close that sale with that information. Okay, Sherranda or Sharon, if you would like to chime in on that, I think this is a key thing here.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I don't have any groups in Texas, but for those that can definitely use this, I think you should, because I know a lot of people are still struggling, you know, having those conversations, and, you know, and I know we have some associates on the phone on the Zoom that was affected too. And, you know, it was just phenomenal to hear how, you know, how everybody worked together to help each other, you know. So, you know, for those that's in the area, know somebody in the area, maybe you have family in the area, you know, you can share this, you know, with them as well. So, you know, just think about how you can use this and the other information. I definitely will be sending the other information out that was shared earlier, because, you know, this is an easy way to break the ice with somebody if you're scared to talk about the benefit. This is just, you know, sharing is caring, and people appreciate it if you come from this angle. And I know a lot of associates that on the mastermind call, that's what they've done. You know, Randy posts something and they'll take that flyer, and it has began to open them groups. So just think about that as well. You know, if you are, you know, scared to just make that initial call, or that, you know, this can be your way to break that ice by doing that. So that's all I have to say. Thank you, Randy, for definitely sharing, and Lamar as well for your insights.
Sharon?
Yes, gentlemen. I truly appreciate that information. And because I have several clients that are in Florida, and you know, Florida is the hurricane alley, and they'll be coming up on hurricane season. So if I can get this out to, if we can get it out to potentials and or clients that's down there, because I checked my phone roster when I first saw about Texas to see if I needed to reach out to any members, and I had about 3 of them, and I had given them the information to their law firm, not knowing what was going to happen, and the devastation that came behind it. But you definitely have to find out wherever the fire is at in the part of the states. You got to reach out to your clients and let them know that you are there for them, and then their law firm telephone number is available, and the number is whatever that number shall be. But that's just definitely being a customer service personnel, and you all know that that's me. So I'll definitely be up burning the midnight oil tonight, sending this information out to my clients as well as my group accounts that I do have open. Thank you so very much for that, gentlemen. Back to you.
We may have to change the picture to a hurricane for you,
There
Sharon.
you go.
Hey, it is inclement weather. Yes.
That's it. That's it. That's the key.
Yeah.
Hey, I would like to make some comments, and Mr. Randy here on the CDLP brochure. I've got a couple of texts and emails this week concerning the violations that are covered in our program. And so you folks that are out there that's on the Zoom, if you will grab a CDLP brochure, you got one handy, because I've had a couple of people ask me, hey, Mr. Reynolds, what about all of these violations? Which ones are covered in my program, in the CDLP program? And Randy, maybe you can help me on this. On the logbook, this thing is very generic in our brochure. Within the logbook, it says logbook. Well, Randy, I know they added 22 new violations in the logbook, and they already probably had 50. So there's probably over 100 different logbook violations that is covered in our program. So when it says
in 2018, August of 2018, they put out 22 new hours of service violation simply because there wasn't enough money being made. So they changed them with point value, and a copy of that. I've got a copy of that. I may put that in the file section for people, because it'll give there's a lot of drivers that don't know that those 12 new or 22 new hours of service took effect in August of 18.
Yeah. And so the other one down here, if you just drop down to equipment violations, there's literally hundreds with an S, hundreds of violations on equipment that our program will cover. So they can't list them all. So they just say equipment violations. Well, you got everything from brakes, tires, lights, and all different A, B, C, D components of each one of those. So there is all kinds of different violations within these sections here. So the things that are not covered at 100% in the basic CDLP would be like a parking ticket. Okay. But we would still handle that ticket. It's covered at a 25%. It could be a DWI. Okay. Well, that's not driving legal. So that defaults to a 25%. So there's a few violations that are not covered 100%.
Any appeals?
Say that again, Randy?
Any appeals, if they have to appeal a decision, it's not covered 100%. It defaults to 25.
Yeah. So, and I know a lot of you folks are just getting certified, and and you're looking at the brochure and trying to understand it. So each one of these little components, there is, in some cases, can be hundreds or 50 or 25 more violations within that subset. So there's just a lot of violations there that are covered that is not listed, but they will probably fall under the logbook or probably fall under equipment violations. The placards, there's all kinds. Oh yeah, Randy, there you go. There is there is the 22 new violations they just added to the logbook. So yeah, so you may be just starting in LegalShield and selling the CDLP, and you're looking at the brochure and it just says logbook. Okay, well, here's all the different, this is just 22 new violations for the logbook. And there's probably another 50 to 100 different violations already there in the logbook. So there's probably, I don't know, if I had to guess, maybe 150 to 200 violations that officer could write for the logbook.
Most of this has to do with the ELD. Whenever they come out with the ELDs, they had to add all of these new violations because of the ELD.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to take a moment, because I had got a couple of texts and emails this week, just to kind of drill down on that and explain it. Because there's a lot, as you're reading that and you're looking at the ticket that the driver is saying, well, is this covered? Well, more than likely it falls under one of these components here. Okay. So the placards, well, there's a lot of different violations there. Load spillage, hazardous material, that has to do with hazmat. Within hazmat, there's a whole slew of violations in hazmat. So there's a lot of depth in every one of these categories that you may be looking at here. So more than likely, that violation is covered. If it's something that's off base, like a parking ticket, that's not covered. So you'll start to, if you look at the fine print on the back of this brochure, you will see a few of the violations that are not covered. They write it in small print. So that's usually, when I get a brochure, I usually, Sherranda will get my magnifying glass and read the small print, because that is the exceptions. So I just wanted to point that out tonight, Robert, before we sign off. I'll turn it back over to you, Robert.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys, all your input on all this information. A lot of people are asking questions. It seems like they've been getting answered a little bit at a time in the chat there. So thank you guys for answering the questions as well as they came in. I remember, guys, whenever we're talking about any articles here, they're always going to be on the Facebook page. You can either scroll down or you can simply click the files section and make sure you see it there. And you should go there anyway to make sure that you haven't missed anything, because Randy puts stuff there, I put there, Sherranda puts things there, and so do the other trainers and people who are even in the field who put things there. So make sure that you occasionally click on that file section and just scroll down and see if there's anything there that you haven't seen, because there's always helpful documents there to help you out in the space. And if anything pops up new for LegalShield and LS Engage, somebody normally grabs it and they bring it to the Facebook page, so you can get it there, or you can go directly to the LegalShield or LS Engage, I should say, page and get it there. So appreciate you guys all. Again, we want to close out at 9:30. It's 9:34. So we appreciate you guys for being on, for staying with us a little bit longer. We know there's some other calls and Zooms going on that you have to get on with the teams and things of that nature. Please, again, guys, go to the Facebook page, right? Go to that Facebook page. When you get to that Facebook page, when you get to that YouTube page, you can click on playlists and look at all of the ones you missed. When you go to that page, please click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. If you don't know how to get there, I just put it in the chat. Click that link. It'll take you directly to the YouTube channel where the videos are at. You'll see CDLP selling strategy playlist. Click on that list and look at all the trainings. If you want to go back even further to all of our calls we did on pre-conference call when we were doing just the calls over the phone. You can go to the Facebook page. You can click on announcements and scroll down, and you will see a link or a post that says replays. When you click on that post and click on more, it'll drop down every call we did, I think from 2018 or something like that, all the way until September of last year. So you'll see all of those there. So any of our trainers have anything else to close out with before we leave? Going once?
Robert, it's me, Sharon. Can I say something right quick?
Absolutely.
I'm so grateful for this platform as well. The information that has been instilled in me, it's just has truly added value to my book of business as well. I'll tell you all next week if I have on the spot 2-for-1 small business plans, because Randy, you just gave a shout out to Sherranda for being on the top 5 with the Cabo trip. Well, I'm number 2 underneath Rob Vest for writing opening up groups. So, and that came from opening up trucking companies, family. So I'm grateful, like I said, for the continual knowledge that I get from this course. Back to you, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. Definitely appreciate you jumping on. And I didn't even realize that Randy had mentioned you. I heard Randy mentioning the congratulations, and I kind of didn't even hear. I thought he just brought it up, so I didn't even realize that. So congratulations on that. A lot of hard work to be number 2. A lot of hard work to be on the same sheet of paper as Rob Best is all the work he's always doing. So if you even on the same page as him, you're doing good. You're doing excellent. So congratulations for that, guys. Again, we're closing out. Appreciate you guys all. Look forward to hearing from you guys next week. Keep posting on the page. Keep celebrating everybody's success, and we'll see you guys on the CDLP Selling Strategies Zoom again next week. Everybody enjoy their Monday and have a successful week.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you. Good night, all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Mr. Clarence.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. This is Aiden from Las Cruces. Thank you very much. And if Lamar could you give me a call if possible? I got a question or 2 for you out of Las Cruces, New Mexico.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Great information, Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you.